Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that when we look at Lucasfilm, which is definitely one of the worst divisions over at Disney aside from Marvel Studios, we know that Kathleen Kennedy is the leading cause of wreaking havoc over at that studio in particular, as well as Bob Iger and his lack of leadership skills and making all the wrong calls every single year. That's really just bringing Lucasfilm into this never-ending downward spiral, so to speak. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So one thing about Lucasfilm that falls into this ongoing vicious cycle is that they always announce movies and or projects and then cancel said projects, or they fall into some kind of limbo mode where the production just goes into a complete stagnant mode, where you don't really know exactly what's happening with those projects. Now, what's interesting about this upcoming Rey Star Wars film with director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, after she was fired and removed from over 5 Star Wars projects, leaving her down and only connected to the Rey Star Wars movie featuring Daisy Ridley. One, of course, crucial development revolving around everything at Lucasfilm has a lot to do with what's been going on with the whole GINA CARANO lawsuit situation, which, by the way, in case you guys did not know, is being funded by Elon Musk, alright? Which is going to make her case even stronger because she has all the fuel that she needs to go head-to-head against Disney and Lucasfilm. Now, what's interesting about all this further has a lot to do with Sharmeen's overall stand against the whole GINA CARANO situation and exactly why. Now, with many divisions over at Disney heading into a downward spiral as well, Bob Iger and the board of directors have been in full panic mode over the current situation with the GINA lawsuit, with Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, a close partner to Kathleen Kennedy, who has been very informed with the GINA CARANO lawsuit situation that is being funded by Elon Musk. One surprising development involves how director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy recently reacted to the GINA CARANO lawsuit behind the scenes that's going on right now, and how it is surprisingly creating a divide already at Lucasfilm and its headquarters since the past couple of days. As it turns out, Sharmeen has been very angered with Disney with their focus on the GINA situation, and how this is contributing to a shift in attention away from the production of the Rey Star Wars film, as Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy prepare to go over multiple strategies on how to handle the entire scenario. Both Disney and Kathleen Kennedy's actions, of course, by taking a break from development of the Rey film to head into damage control and focus on that for the GINA lawsuit, reportedly created a ruckus over at Lucasfilm for Sharmeen, as she believes that it's unfair for her production to come as a temporary halt over the damage control with GINA and Elon. To make matters even worse, some crew members attached to the Rey Star Wars film have also voiced their opinions about GINA to Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, and how surprisingly there were many that actually sided with GINA and actually do support her, much like Carl Weathers did when he supported and respected GINA on social media well before his passing. Now, the rise of cast members, of course, voicing their opinion about GINA after the temporary halt in production is already sparking outrage between the directors and, of course, Bob Iger and everyone else, of course, associated with Lucasfilm, and it's creating an unstable situation at Lucasfilm as of right now. Already, Kathleen Kennedy and Iger agreed to respond in 3 different ways to the lawsuit by using ABC-run programs and an exclusive Lucasfilm video that goes over the working environment and the atmosphere. However, this comes as no surprise, as Sharmeen is also another director and, of course, Lucasfilm hire that despises GINA CARANO. In addition to this recent development, it's unclear how long the production of the Rey movie is going to stay on a pause after Lucasfilm's recent shift to address the lawsuit and to make a lot of focus on that from both GINA and Elon's push against Disney. Iger has already discussed delaying the movie from summer until Christmas time of 2026, and to provide the Mandalorian movie to take its place in the summer, which reportedly was already decided by Bob Iger. Now, both Iger and Kennedy reportedly delayed the film by 6 whole months already due to GINA's lawsuit and their focus on the form of damage control, and also due to production issues on top of that. However, the GINA situation was the final push for, of course, what Iger, of course, is going through right now, and why it led him to confirming the delay behind the scenes, and it's what ultimately threw Sharmeen into serious differences with Lucasfilm and Disney. One shocking turn of events is that Sharmeen already sparked outrage against Kathleen Kennedy for giving Bob Iger the okay to halt production for an unknown amount of time. Now guys, let me just stop here before I get to the conclusion about all of this, is that this just goes to show you how divided a company like Lucasfilm always, gets. And this has happened before in the past when GINA got fired. There were those that were against GINA and there were those that were actually supporting her, and a lot of those, believe it or not, that did support her and supported George Lucas's vision were slowly but progressively let go over time. And that's why you have a lot less George Lucas loyals and hires over at Lucasfilm nowadays. So it's a little bit surprising that there are quite a number left working on the Rey movie that do support GINA Carano, that do support the vision of George Lucas and are speaking up behind the scenes about this ongoing scenario. And this is only making matters worse over at Lucasfilm. So look, this is nothing new. This is, of course, a never-ending cycle for this company. It's a vicious cycle at that, and it's always going to repeat itself. This is typical Lucasfilm behavior that's driven by Disney, is that they always find themselves into some kind of trouble or some kind of situation that they can't seemingly get out of for quite some time. I think it's personally a very big mistake that Kathleen Kennedy is moving forward with speaking her word of the quote-unquote truth on ABC-run programs, which, by the way, we have a lot more to talk about that and what she's planning. That's only going to make GINA Carano's lawsuit, I think, a lot easier, and it's only contributing to GINA and Elon's point about Lucasfilm and Disney in nature. So again, moving on forward from all of this, alright, what's interesting about this, again, is that Sharmeen, surprisingly, is already demanding Kennedy and the Disney heads to focus far away from the GINA lawsuit so that her film can get back on track with production and its cycle, and it's creating nothing but arguments. So basically, this entire divide between Sharmeen and Kathleen Kennedy is another fine example that they eventually do eat their own if they have any kind of a minor argument or any kind of, different opinion on what's being done and why it's being done. And this is a prime example of another Lucasfilm squabble between a producer and a director. We've seen this endless amounts of times over the past couple of years. I mean, if you just go back and look at what happened with the various movies that were announced and later canceled or fell into limbo mode where you never heard about them again, it's typical for Kathleen Kennedy to put a halt to production once more behind the scenes to focus on something else that contributes to damage control. And look, like I said before, I think that Bob Iger really is just lying his way through 2024 to run into 2025, which is full of expensive failures. That's why he's trying to give out false promises to the shareholders and what he also calls the customers. So overall, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.